name's Phil Hellmuth. I'm from Palo Alto, California. I'm 39 years old.
He's the bad boy of poker. You either love him or hate him, but you gotta respect him.
In the most money won department, I'm number 1.
He's one of the best players in the world. It's gonna be tough to beat him.
In the most final table department, I'm number 1. I have 32.
Wow. He's proven over the years that he is one of the great players.
This is my 45th cash this very tournament, which ties me for number 1.
Yes! He is one of the very best, and he knows it as well. That's playing poker.
Number of bracelets won, I have 9.
Hellmuth wins the championship.
But it's tied with 2 other people.
He's accomplished more than maybe anyone has ever accomplished in poker.
I have a chance to break records, but what I really want the most is to win my 10th bracelet, because that is how you measure poker greatness.
Can Phil win bracelet number 10? Find out next. Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. You're looking at the Horseshoe Casino where history can be made this evening. The eyes of the poker world are focused on one man, Phil Hellmuth, who's staring down poker immortality as he loosens up for tonight's final table. Hello everybody, I'm Lon McCarron alongside Norman Chad. Doyle Brunson, Johnny Chan, and Phil Hellmuth each have 9 gold championship bracelets. But as we get set tonight for our final table in this pot limit Hold'em World Championship event, Phil is the only one there with a shot at number 10.
Yeah, Phil Hellmuth is a one-trick pony, Lon, but what a trick it is. All 9 of his World Series bracelets have come in Hold'em events. He is a favorite to make it 10 tonight, and if he doesn't win, he's a favorite to be very unhappy about it.
And earlier we talked with Phil about his laser focus on winning that next championship.
I have to have a bracelet in order for me to feel like I've had a successful series. This is my 5th cash this year, which is number 1. Fine, no one's even gonna notice or care, you know? I mean, it's not important. You really have to get the bracelet.
You know, Lon, I might not have noticed that Phil had 5 cashes this year if he hadn't pointed it out.
Well, if he's going to win this bracelet, he needs to go through our chip leader, Gavin Griffin, 22 years old.
And Gavin could make some of his own history tonight. He would become the youngest bracelet winner ever at a World Series.
Also here, Gabriel Thaler, his 3rd World Series, 6 career cash at the World Series. We look at his whole cards on the Miller High Life Pocket Cam. Queen, 3, and he'll toss them in. Fi Win has 1 World Series bracelet, and he does not like his cards. Frank Sinopoli, like Phil Hellmuth, has finished 5 times in the money here at the 2004 World Series of Poker. He's got a couple of 5s. And he's reaching for chips. He'll bet 21,000. And now over to one of the best European poker players, Ram Vaswani with Ace-King.
Great player, great look.
All right, Zach.
And Ram Vaswani will push in enough chips to put Frank Sinopoli all in should he decide to make the call.
I'm all in.
And he will indeed call with his 5s.
It's going to be a coin flip. And look, Lon, usually the guy going all in stands up. For some reason, everybody else at the table standing up this time.
Ram Vaswani, a member of the so-called Hendon Mob of England, a group of friends that travel around Europe playing in the tournaments there. And Frank Sinopoli with his tournament life at stake, and the flop comes 7-2-9, no help.
And that's good news for Frank Sinopoli. He's trying to dodge an ace or a king. An ace or a king from Ram will knock him out.
And the turn's an 8 of spades. Sinopoli with a straight draw now. 1 card to go. And the river, 3 of clubs, Sinopoli wins it.
You know it! The coin flips are coming in the house today! Frankie!
Ram Vaswani looks like he didn't even play the hand. So Frank Sinopoli proves you do not need ace-ace to win at Texas Hold'em.
I'm in the mood to get pushed around, boys.
Here are the Miller High Life rules for Texas Hold'em. Each player is first dealt 2 down cards. A round of betting then occurs as players decide for the first time if they're in or they're out. Then come the community cards with the flop, the turn, and the river with a round of betting after each. In the end, the best 5-card combination wins the hand and takes the pot.
Is this your 5th time in the money? Is that what they said? This year? It's pretty strong.
Thanks for pointing that out, buddy.
Oh, me too, baby. I'm there 5 times, so. I think it's you and me. I don't know if anybody else in the room's done it.
Sinopoli is short stacked, but he told me beforehand if I get some chips, I'm going to make people forget who Phil Hellmuth is.
Tall order indeed.
20,000.
Tom Lee now will bet 20,000 with an ace-4 suited. Phil Hellmuth with queen-queen.
Raise it.
And Phil will push, and now we'll find out how much.
50.
50,000 now chips over to Gavin Griffin. And he checks his whole cards. Is it worth it? King-Jack, not a bad hand. But he throws it away.
Well, Gavin chuckling, those are cards he normally would like to play, but with 2 players acting in front of him, he had to toss them.
So now the action over to Tom Lee. Does he want to call and go all in against Phil Hellmuth?
Anyone left, yeah.
And he will indeed.
Oh, you pulled in my 50, right? Yeah.
So it'll be heads up, Tom Lee, Phil Hellmuth.
And Hellmuth in a good position, a 2-1 favorite here with the pocket queens against the ace-4 suited.
And now our flop is 8-2 Jack. No real help to either player.
That strengthens Phil's position.
Keep it low, please.
He wants to avoid an ace.
And the club draw now for Tom Lee. And the ace also will win the hand.
Yeah, Tom Lee can stay alive with, as you say, the ace or a club.
And the river card is a club. Tom Lee hits runner clubs to double up on Phil Hellmuth and stay alive.
Gentle, Phil. Gentle.
Nice hand.
There you go.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life, and in part by Levitra. Ask your doctor about it today. Levitra, when it counts. And Harrah's Entertainment.
Welcome back to the Horseshoe. We had a few casualties while we were away as Jerry Reed could not be saved on the river. He finished in 9th place, collecting $17,440. 2 hands later, Phi Win could not find that miracle card either when he was eliminated in 8th place, taking home over $26,000, taken down by Gary Bush, a former European Player of the Year. Continuing here at event number 25 of 33 of the World Series of Poker, Gavin Griffin checks his whole cards and throws them away. Gabriel Thaler and Ace King. I don't think he'll get rid of these. Gabriel from Cupertino, California, professional poker player, will bet 18,000 chips. Sinopoli folds. Tom Lee folds. Over to Phil Hellmuth now. And a pair of 10s. And Phil is going to make the call. So it's going to be Thaler and Hellmuth. Heads up.
I checked you.
In the dark?
It's amazing. Anytime you check in the dark in this game, people are always thrown off, and that's what Phil has just done to Gabriel.
Now Thaler has matched his king, and Hellmuth gets no help on the flop.
Lon, Thaler, and Hellmuth have been jawing at each other all through this tournament.
Thaler now going to push the action, 23,000 to Phil.
Where's that ESPN? ESPN, I was supposed to go broke this hand, but I just didn't like the way you raised the pot on the way in.
We now join the Phil Hellmuth show, already in progress.
So you're throwing your hand away?
And Phil does indeed.
That's a safe standard play from Phil with 2 overcards on the board. He doesn't want to risk the rest of his chips.
And right now he is the short stack at the table, 37,000. Gabriel Thaler now over 100,000 and back in the thick of things at our final table.
It's taken me all my skill to still be in here right now. All my skill. It's unbelievable. I mean, you got ace-4 for 90,000. I mean, you know.
Phil doing his Phil thing, but inside that prickly exterior is a warm and caring person. You don't believe me? Just ask his mom.
I have never felt a heart capacity like Phil's. I mean, he is just way out here.
I'm a family person. I've given away 8 of my 9 bracelets.
My husband has one of our daughters, Anne has one, his wife has one.
Life has been very good to me, and I'm just so happy with where I'm at.
Read my book, Play Poker Like the Pros.
I started playing poker in college.
He said, well, I'm going to drop out of school to play poker.
Oh, no! I folded 7s and 8s.
That wasn't as upsetting to me as it was to his dad.
Oh!
They didn't understand it. They were just freaked out.
Can you fold it, Dad?
My dad has an MBA, a PhD, and a JD. I mean, that's like saying you're going to deal drugs or something to my dad.
I used to say, if you really want to do something and you really believe in yourself, you can do it.
Mom, pocket 10s, wow. You win everything. If I win this, I'm going to give my sister my 10th bracelet, and I'm going to buy my mother a brand new car. So it's gonna be fun if I can pull it off.
To earn his record 10th bracelet, this big-hearted guy's got a big mountain to climb, but he's done it before. Welcome back to the Horseshoe. Our Toyota Chip Count shows Gavin Griffin in command right now in this pot limit hold'em event. Of course, the main event coming up very shortly in this year's World Series of Poker. And the short stack of Phil Hellmuth will not play this hand. Over to our chip leader, Gavin Griffin, hole cards with King-Queen suited.
He's a former poker dealer. Hard to believe he's only 22, so he's already had time to start dealing after he was 21.
And he deals out 25,000 chips. Players behind him fold. Tom Lee folds now to Ram Vaswani, looking at a pair of 4s. Vaswani in his 5th World Series of Poker, 33 years old, from London. And he'll decide to call the bet from Griffin. So it will be Vaswani and Griffin going heads up to our flop.
Gavin trying to look at Ram. I don't know what you can see in Ram at any point of any day or night.
And the flop gives Ram a straight draw, coupled with his pair of 4s. He's got a big advantage right now on Griffin.
But Ram checks, and Gavin checks behind him.
And Ram makes his straight with the 3. And he does make a move now, 25,000 to Griffin.
And Gavin Griffin has next to nothing right now. He didn't get any part of the flop or the turn. And it's tough to call the 25.
How much does the young poker pro want to posture? And he will bet. He'll raise 65,000.
Yeah, that's beyond posturing. What, essentially Gavin senses weakness in Ram, so he's going to try to win the pot right here. Unfortunately, Gavin's weakness-o-meter needs a trip to the repair shop.
I'm on it.
And Ram Vaswani swats back and goes all in.
Gavin likes to be aggressive. He just picked the wrong spot to be aggressive.
How much more?
It really doesn't matter how much more, Lon. If you bluff at the pot and your opponent comes back over the top of you, it's time to run home to mama, if she'll have you.
Gavin Griffin does kick it in. He is not going to push too hard, and he made the right call. And Gavin Griffin has now lost the chip lead to Ram Vaswani. And Ram getting support from his fiancée Jackie in the bleachers, and Ram also supported by a group of friends, much like Dutch Boyd and Scott Fishman's crew. But these mates are not a crew, they're a mob from across the pond.
I'm Ram Vaswani, and I'm part of the Hendon mob. There's 4 of us in the Hendon mob. You got Rocky Ross Boatman, Barmy Barney, and Joe the Elegance Beavers. The 4 of us used to play in a private game in Hendon. As we became good players, we sort of travelled around the world playing together, and people just used to say, look, there's the Hendon mob. Won a lot of events in Europe, but this is really the world stage, and it would be a good time to win a bracelet. I suppose I'm a very aggressive player, but I can mix it up as well. It's my 4th final table at the World Championships. That's the one thing that's missing really for me, a gold bracelet. So I'll do whatever it takes to get one.
He may not look like it, but his nickname is Crazy Horse, Norm.
Indeed, he may play a little crazy today to try to win a bracelet. He doesn't care about 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, so some of his play might be somewhat unusual.
And the mates from Hendon Mob are already celebrating his chip leadership.
Yeah, I don't think the crew is even old enough to buy beer yet. It's good to see the mob is.
I don't think we've heard the last of the mob today. Most of the table folding. Now the action over to Phil Hellmuth, the '89 world champion. He was the youngest ever to win that. Phil in the small blind.
Phil getting in for half price without many chips and without much of a hand, but he'll play. And now Gavin can get in for free because he's in the big blind.
With a king 5 suited. And a flop 5-6 jack. They both get a piece of that flop.
Phil has 6s, Gavin has 5s.
13.
13.
You all in?
No, I have 5 more. 18 total.
So Gavin Griffin can put Phil Hellmuth all in right here if he chooses to.
Yeah, the problem for Phil right now is when you don't have a lot of chips, you can't protect your hand. So Gavin is willing to play because it doesn't cost him a whole lot more.
So the cards are flipped. Hellmuth sees his advantage.
And as a 3-1 favorite, Hellmuth with a very good chance to double up and get back in the mix here.
And here comes the turn card. It's a 9 of spades, 2 pair now for Phil.
Phil now in a very good position, but Gavin can still knock him out with a king or a 5 or now a spade.
And the river card comes. It is a spade. Oh my goodness. Phil Hellmuth, victim to runner again, loses to the flush, knocked out by Gavin Griffin.
Guys put all their money in the worst hand every time.
Good playing with you,
I was
Phil.
going to self-destruct for all those chips. I knew he was going to suck out on me.
Phil's last book was called Play Poker Like the Pros. His next book should be called Cry Like a Baby.
Craving his 10th bracelet, Phil Hellmuth goes out in 7th place, knocked off by one of the young guns, Gavin Griffin, in his first World Series of Poker.
What the hell, man? I just can't play any better than this. I mean, I cannot play. I played so perfect. It's not even, it doesn't even seem right.
It's not. I mean, they got lucky.
If there weren't luck involved, I guess I'd win every one.
If there weren't luck involved, I guess I'd win every one.
Gavin will take that luck every day.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life.
We are down to 6 players now at our final table, but one man still refuses to believe it's over, Phil Hellmuth.
Cannot play any better. You know, there's luck in the game. There's just luck in the game. That Gabe kid, he made about 30 mistakes, and I never beat him one pot anyway. Not one pot. So, you know, sometimes you wait for a guy and he just gets lucky over and over and over again, and there's nothing you can do. End of end.
I believe crying towels are available in the gift shop.
Phil's gone. Who am I going to talk to? Which one of you guys are going to talk to me?
I don't know if anyone's going to talk to Gabriel. Gavin's not. Gabriel's going to have to talk to himself.
The cards aren't talking to him, so he kicks him in. Over to Frank Sinopoli. It's the second final table we have seen him. He was in a $5,000 no-limit hold'em event as well. This, a $3,000 pot limit hold'em event. And Sinopoli with a king-jack suited. And he will bet $40,000 of his shorter stack.
His nickname is Take That, which he has on the baseball cap. I really think he could find another baseball cap with a better nickname.
Over to Gavin Griffin, a couple of 8s. And Gavin will push in enough chips to put Sinopoli all in if he wants to venture into that territory.
Gavin loves putting pressure on other players, especially when he's got the big chips.
Oh, baby, finally got ace jack.
And so Frank Sinopoli once again will go all in. And it's Griffin with a minor advantage.
Actually, Frank Sinopoli almost channeling Phil Hellmuth right there with his body language as he awaits his fate.
All right, ready for the flop. It is 6 jack and 8, a third 8 for Gavin Griffin. What a draw.
And you hear the nails going into Frankie's coffin right now. He is in dire straits at this point.
Turn card is a 6, and now Griffin with a full boat 8s and 6s.
But Sinopoli can still stay alive with a jack.
He's got 2 jacks left in the deck. It's a 7 of diamonds, not going to do it. Gavin Griffin knocks off another player. Frank Sinopoli, 6th place and over $43,000. And Gavin Griffin comes back strong and has once again picked up the chip leadership. Gavin's got over 280,000 chips. Ram Vaswani about 50,000 behind. There's Gary Bush, the low stack at the table. They call him the Whacker.
They call him what?
The Whacker, like Bushwhacker. He's got a couple of aces.
Do a lot of whacking with aces.
27,000 chips he will risk from his short stack. And Tom Lee will fold. Ram Vaswani now. And a couple of kings.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I build my whole life around watching pocket aces against pocket kings. I love it.
And Ram Vaswani reaches for a big stack, enough to put Bush all in if he wishes to. And the emotion seething out of Ram Vaswani right now. Gavin Griffin will fold. Gabriel Thaler folds. Bush has about 28,000 chips left.
Oh, they're going in.
They are indeed. And so Gary Bush from London, England, facing elimination, going up against his fellow countryman Ram Vaswani. And shows the aces.
He struts a little like, I got your Ram on this one.
We got 2 former European Players of the Year. And the flop comes to Jack Queen.
I believe Ram was born with that precise expression on his face. It's amazing.
The glasses were added later. Turn card is a 4 of diamonds. Now Bush gets stronger.
And Bush will survive if there is no king on the river.
And here comes the river card. It is a jack. And aces at the perfect moment come to Gary Bush. And he doubles up at the expense of Ram Vaswani.
And it looks like the Hendon mom could use another beer right now. Actually, if I were them, I'd switch to hard liquor. Gary Bush looking good, though.
On the outer tables, day 1 of Raz is underway. Among the field is Dutch Boyd, who's looking to excel in his first tournament attempt at this game. Dutch is no stranger to leaving big impressions and debuts, as we all found out in last year's main event.
We're gonna take over the poker world, man.
When Dutch Boyd issued that mandate last year, little did we know that the crew had definitive plans this time around. We saw Scott Fishman win his very first bracelet in dramatic fashion. 3 days later, he proved the first was no fluke by taking home a second one in the very next event he entered. But the crew did not stop there. Brett Youngblood, who was merely a spectator last year,
It's over. What do you guys want?
this year went heads up against Miami John Cernudo and won his first bracelet.
I feel great. I just fulfilled a dream of mine, a lifelong dream of mine. I'm a world champion, baby.
With his win, Brett would make it 3 championship bracelets for the crew so far at this World Series.
We own the World Series of Poker. We own it. We're all under 24. Forget it. I'm 25. You are? Just turned 25. Who cares?
And on the strength of his 2 wins, Scott Fishman now sits in 3rd place in the Toyota Player of the Year point standings behind your current leader, Min Nguyen.
The Toyota Points Leader is brought to you by Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life size. The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. Texas Hold'em.
Welcome back to this $3,000 buy-in, pot limit Hold'em. Our chip leader is Gavin Griffin. He'll fold. Over to Gabriel Thaler, who is the short stack at the table with 85,000. He's sitting on a pair of 3s, reaches for the chips, and he will bet
40,000.
40,000. Gary Bush checks out his action and will fold. Now to Tom Lee.
They look like aces.
It looked like aces. Small aces.
Very tiny aces.
Tom Lee is from Denver, Colorado, playing in his first World Series of Poker.
Yeah, let me tell you, Tom Lee is the indoor human rain delay. He takes a long time to act.
Thaler's going to take that 7th inning stretch.
By the way, Lon, remember, we are playing pot limit rather than no limit. In pot limit, you can bet the size of the pot at any time.
Tom Lee will raise, and that'll put Thaler all in. And a wide-eyed Gabriel Thaler.
If he had contact lenses, they would have popped out on that expression.
So Thaler will risk it all.
Oh, no, it's not. You have a pair?
Yeah, he's got a pair. Call a taxi for Gabriel Thaler.
Oh, everybody sees the pair of aces now. So Gabriel Thaler at risk now of exiting this World Series of Poker. Here's the flop. King 4-5, no help.
To stay alive in this championship, Thaler's best chance would be to get a 3.
Thaler with a short prayer before the turn card, and here it comes. Oh, it's a 3. And the tables are turned now on Tom Lee, who's praying for a card. He needs an ace or a 2 to send Thaler home. The river card is a queen of hearts, and a set of 3s for Gabriel Thaler staves off elimination.
Thaler won't need that taxi, and this is why you gotta love this game. If he loses there, he's out of here. He wins, and he's now second in chips on this table.
Our leader is still Gavin Griffin on the Toyota chip count, but there you see Gabriel Thaler, 188,000.
And look at Gavin Griffin there, Lon. 22 years old, can barely drink, barely vote, barely do anything but play good poker.
Almost hidden behind that stack of chips that he has, Gavin Griffin with an ace-queen unsuited, and he will bet 35,000 chips. Thaler folds, Bush folds, as does Tom Lee. Next to act, Ram Vaswani, who's looking, suited Jack-10.
Oh, we see it suited Jack-10. I'm still not sure he can see it suited Jack-10 through those particular sunglasses.
And Ram Vaswani says he's all in.
Well, actually, he's not all in yet. He can bet the size of the pot, and this will be most of his remaining chips. What's interesting here, Lon, is that he's got Jack-10 suited. Even though he's the short stack, it's not that short of a stack. I mean, you want to see a short stack, you come to my apartment. He has a lot of chips left to play, and he's decided to go with Jack-10 suited right here.
So Crazy Horse Vaswani living up to his reputation of playing on the edge.
Lon, there's Crazy, and then there's Loco. But this is what Ram said he was here to do, go after a bracelet.
Right now, Gavin Griffin finding out exactly how much Vaswani has left, and he'll potentially put Vaswani all in. And there's the bet that does it.
And Gavin's on the edge, too. He's putting a lot of chips in with ace-queen, figuring it might be a coin flip, and he's actually well ahead in the hand because he's got 2 overcards.
So Vaswani's going to need a lot of help to win the hand. He's either going to be out of this tournament or he's going to be the chip leader. And the flop. 2-7-5, about as far away from the cards that Vaswani needed.
He needs to start pairing up his whole cards, and best as I can tell, he hasn't done that yet.
Turn card 3 of clubs, Griffin with a straight draw now.
And Ram down to needing a jack or a 10 or his day is over.
And now the river card comes into 6 of diamonds, not going to be good enough for Ram Vaswani. Gavin Griffin knocks out another player, and Vaswani from the Hendon mob will have to wait another day to get that championship bracelet. He's gone in 5th place. Gavin Griffin, though, is one step closer to making World Series of Poker history.
My name is Gavin Griffin. I'm 22 and I'm from Darien, Illinois. I've been playing poker for probably 3 years. I had a pretty decent run online for the last few weeks, so I decided to come out and take a shot. If I win, I'd be the youngest player ever to win a bracelet, and that's been something I've been interested in for a while. I'm confident in my abilities. I wouldn't have played if I didn't think I could make it this far. I only have one thing in mind, and that's winning.
And if he does win here today, Gavin Griffin will break Alan Cunningham's record from 2001 as the youngest bracelet winner.
And hell of a shot when we get to the main event to break Phil Hellmuth's record as the youngest bracelet winner. Main event coming up in a couple of weeks. If we don't get to that soon, I'm going to run out of all my gambling money, Lon.
56. Tom Lee bets 56,000 chips with a couple of 8s in the hole.
Very efficient. I like when they tell you the exact bet.
Gavin Griffin now with an 8 and an ace suited. The 8 doesn't matter really to him.
Well, if he could see Lee's cards, it wouldn't matter to him. He's going to raise. If he saw Lee's cards, he wouldn't have raised. He's aggressive again, but this time he's a 2-to-1 dog.
So Gavin Griffin pushing once again, trying to clear this table.
Boy, he has been doing just that.
Gabriel Thaler folds. Tom Lee acts right away.
Oh, so he acts quickly once a month. He must have a dinner reservation.
So Tom Lee is all in with a 2-to-1 advantage.
Oh, that's the look I had last week when they told me I needed a new transmission.
Well, this might cost Gavin Griffin more than your transmission. Now the flop. And it comes with an ace. Griffin keeps drawing the cards.
It's like a stacked deck in favor of Gavin.
One out.
He does have one out. The final 8 in the deck will keep Tom Lee alive.
Turn card is a king of diamonds. It keeps getting better now for Griffin. Flush draw. And Tom Lee is down to one last card. The river card comes. It's another diamond. Griffin gets the flush. And Tom Lee is the fourth straight opponent to be knocked out by Gavin Griffin. Tom Lee in fourth place. And the run of good luck continues for 22-year-old Gavin Griffin.
The World Series of Poker Tournament of Champions, an ESPN special event. 9 of the world's top rounders will be chosen to ante up for $2 million.
Well, I walked into the room, passing out $100 bills. I'm in this town.
Winner.
Here comes the river card.
Take
the full house. And that is it. Wow.
The World Series of Poker Tournament of Champions. Tuesday, September 21st at 9 p.m. Only on ESPN. Deal.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life, and in part by the Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. And Harris Entertainment.
We have 3 players left at this $3,000 pot limit hold'em event. Gavin Griffin with the chip lead. Action as we continue to Gabriel Thaler, 30 years old, from Northern California. He's got an ace-6. He'll call the big blind. Gary Bush from London, England, in the small blind. 6-5, doesn't cost him a lot to stay in.
It's half price, and he decides half price is good enough.
Over to Gavin Griffin, 7-5.
And with those modest cards, he's happy that he hasn't put any more money in.
Now our flop. 6, 4, and 4. Thaler and Bush pair their sixes. Griffin with a straight draw.
And Bush comes out betting 16,000.
Over to Griffin, and he will call the 16,000.
And just with an up and down straight draw right now.
Gabriel Thaler. He has top pair and an ace kicker, and that's worthy of a raise. 60,000 more from Thaler.
Yeah, I would believe I'd have the best hand if I were him, too.
And Gary Bush gives him a snarl.
Well, he thought he had the best hand. With now 2 players in behind him, he's going to think twice about that. He figures somebody's got him beat.
Now, that's exactly what he figures. So Gary Bush will get out of the way. Action now to our chip leader, Gavin Griffin. He has been aggressive. And he will continue that pattern.
Doyle Brunson's one-word course in poker is attack, and Gavin keeps attacking.
He raises $135,000 to Thaler.
Bet it right out into me like a champion, huh?
Thaler's trying to figure where that bet came from. But who can figure these kids today?
I mean, you just have to have a 4, don't you? You just absolutely have to have a 4. I mean, you're not going to raise me with a 6. You don't have 2 7s. You'd raise it for the fall.
And Gavin's almost an elementary school maneuver here to block his face so he can't see what he looks like.
Exactly what I was thinking, and it works. Gabriel Thaler folds, and Gavin Griffin's aggressiveness wins him the hand. Let's step away from possible history in the making to continue our coverage of an event already of historic proportion.
This is the greatest event in the history of mankind.
The strongest players in the world have come together.
It's going to be the hardest mentally tough thing I've probably ever done in my life.
This is poker at its highest level. This is Blind Man's Bluff.
It's going to be a war.
We are now 3-handed at this Blind Man's Bluff Championship. Scotty Wynn, Cloney Gowan, Amir Vahidi, but wait!
Wait is right.
Is this a closed game or can anybody play?
Chris Moneymaker?
Goodness.
Chris Moneymaker trying to crash the game. Are they going to let him?
This is a bunch of hooey. We've had people sitting here for hours.
You have to take your hat off, though, because you have to put it to your head.
Anytime Cloney says take something off, you take it off, all right?
Show the man how to play some poker, right, man?
Well, I'm going to try.
These folks have been drooling to take a chunk out of Moneymaker since he won the main event last year.
Oh, I bet it's wrong.
And a rebuy.
Oh, now it gets worse. He brings Mattisau with him. That's a bad beat for us.
2 chips. That's all it's going to take for me to bust you guys.
Okay, 4 players.
2 chips apiece.
I'll tell you where you can stick those 2 chips. Well, at least they're not going to let him play.
All right, so the cards go up now on the forehead.
I'm still protesting this whole thing. Moneymaker should not be allowed in. This is a world championship.
Oh, Cloney folded. I'm out of here.
Yeah, okay, I'll take over from now. Go follow her. She's still at the table.
Oh, Vahidi has the lead so far with the
Scotty
queen
Wynn
high.
went all in.
Woo. All right.
But Moneymaker, this is ridiculous.
In and out.
He
in and
shouldn't
out.
be here.
And a call.
All right, so Vahidi with the queen has the lead.
You know, I think this might be Amir's best game. He knows what he's doing.
He knows where he's going. All right, here comes the flop now. No help to anybody.
I don't care about the flop. I care about this Moneymaker getting a free ride.
Oh, there's the queen for Amir and a huge lead.
Queen Schmeen. If Scotty goes, Scotty goes.
River card is a 2. Amir wins the hand. Scotty went all in, all out.
Who cares? I want security to escort Moneymaker out of here. They're treating this like the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic. It's a world championship.
I came in late. You know, this is my game plan from all along. This is the biggest event here at the World Series of Poker. It's absolutely amazing.
That Moneymaker situation has me in a tizzy.
Norm, you got to get off tilt. Let it go.
Regardless of what happens, I feel like I made 2 new friends. It's the truth. We sat next to each other. We've been at this end of the table all day. I mean, that's how I feel.
I played with him all day yesterday, too.
Right.
We played for 3 hours.
I played with him at the same table for a couple hours.
He doesn't look like he made 2 new friends.
No, the warm and fuzzy went out the window when we got to Gary. So Gavin Griffin on the button with a 9-8 unsuited. He'll call.
Wow, you've never done that before. That's
Indeed, I believe that is the first time Gavin has called the big blind when he's last to act.
Gabriel Thaler, 7-6 unsuited.
What does that mean?
He's never done that. I've been playing with him for 3 days. He's never limped on the button, man. Never. This could be aces here.
What perplexes Bush is that Griffin has limped in, as the players call it, which is just to call the big blind when you're the last to act, and he always likes to raise or fold in that situation.
Gabe Thaler will call also. Now to Gary Bush, the perplexed Gary Bush.
He's in the big blind, so he'll just play for free right now.
So everybody left at our championship table involved in the flop. It is 6 ace king. Thaler gets a pair of 6s, and that's about it.
Check.
Thaler checks. He still doesn't know what to do.
He's still thinking about that limping in on the button.
He never limped with an ace, so it's okay.
He'll check also. And look at Gavin Griffin. He's got that Cheshire grin on his face.
Well, Gavin checks and maybe feels fortunate he can see another card for free.
Well, Bush gets some jacks now. That'll give him some more food for thought.
Once again, Thaler has checked. Bush now with the best hand. He doesn't know it, but he will check his jacks.
So now action over to Gavin Griffin. And he has thrown everybody off their game with his actions.
Well, he has no pair, no draw, no hand.
I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you. Don't bet too much.
And he does look like he is going to bet, and he has no hope, actually, unless he does bet, because everyone else has shown weakness, and so he might try to buy the thing right now.
He's going to try to buy it with 37,000 chips.
It's a gutsy play, Lon. He would have no hope to win this hand unless he bets and forces out the competition.
And he forced out Gabriel Thaler. And you see Bush with a check mark has the hand won if he stays in it.
But he's in a complete funk over Gavin Griffin's play. He doesn't know what Gavin has.
Can't work out what you've limped to with Gavin. You'd raise me with an ace.
Now, when Gabriel whistles, he's bluffing, but he's not in the hand, so I don't know what to make of it.
And neither does Gary Bush. He's torturing himself.
Ever since Gavin limped in at the start of the hand, he's half convinced himself that Gavin has a really big hand.
Just made my hand as well.
Bush shows him his jacks.
I think maybe he's got the nuts.
You think so?
You either got the nuts or nothing.
He had nothing but guts there. We should check his birth certificate. He plays wise beyond his years.
Now, we called Gavin lucky earlier on, but that hand, he just outplayed the table. And now he's got over 500,000 chips.
Painful. You would have called.
You know what? I have a proposition.
What?
Let's just put it in dark. I'm the short stack.
Well, maybe you'd have a better chance that way.
Gary's not buying it.
Let me look at my hand first.
Well, that wouldn't be going in dark, would it? 2 7s for Gavin Griffin.
Not again.
Here it comes.
He puts in 60,000. Gabriel Thaler now. He likes what he sees. 2 queens.
He had the right idea. He could have gone in the dark with those. He'd be very happy to see him.
Gabe trying to read Gavin through Gavin's hand.
Oh, I can get the time of day. That's about it.
I'm gonna raise it.
He will raise. He's going to push with the queens and go all in for 115,000 chips.
And appropriately so with that hand.
Gary Bush folds. Now it's up to Griffin to call or get out of the way.
He's in already for 60,000.
And he's going to call it, and a chance to knock out another player now for Gavin Griffin.
He's hoping Gabriel Thaler didn't have a higher pair, and he does.
Good luck.
So Gabe, a 4-1 favorite here to stay alive.
The flop is 6-8-4. Griffin with a straight draw.
Okay, picks up an inside straight draw. A 5 would give him a straight.
Thaler much more comfortable with high cards coming out, though, right now. Turn card's a 9 of clubs and another straight possibility for Griffin.
So now a 5, a 10, or a 7. The only cards a threat to Thaler now.
And Griffin gets a straight on the river. Wow.
What a painful way to go.
Gabriel Thaler, eliminated in third place, earns almost $70,000, and Gavin Griffin continues to roll on the river. We are finally down to 2 players competing for over $270,000. Gary Bush and Gavin Griffin are about to go heads up.
I've won the European rankings at Hold'em twice.
I wanted to come out and try and win a couple events, maybe.
I'm very, very good with a small stack of chips.
I think he's an extremely good player.
You want to check raise me here, yeah? I don't fear anybody on a poker table.
I had a lot of chips, and I'm aggressive if I think I've got an edge in the hand.
I know I'm capable of winning any tournament I play.
This is the last year I have a chance to be the youngest to win any bracelet.
What are you doing? You can't beat me.
What I'd like to happen is to win, but we'll see what happens.
As we go heads up, Gavin Griffin with an almost 4-1 chip advantage, but it wouldn't take much to get Gary even.
Gary Bush has the edge in experience, but I tell you, Lon, I can't tell you how many times this year and going back to last year's main event when Chris Moneymaker beat Sam Farha that we've seen the internet newbie just smash the experienced player.
40,000 chips from Gavin Griffin with his King 5. Bush with a Jack 7, unsuited.
30,000 more.
30,000 more. He made it 50.
And it'll be 30,000 over to Bush.
And he's a tight and solid player, Gary Bush. He makes very few mistakes. It's tough not to back him in any heads-up duel.
And he'll call it. And it's Griffin with the king right now in charge of this hand. And here comes the flop. It's 6, 10, 8. Bush with a straight draw.
Picks up an inside straight draw, otherwise nothing for either one of them. Very often in Hold'em, the first person to take a stab at getting that pot takes down the pot. Let's see if either one of them wants to do that.
Gary Bush checks. Griffin will check as well. Turn card is a king, and Griffin has paired his king.
That's the best card he could have seen. He now has top pair here on the turn, and Gary Bush checks.
And with a huge advantage now, we'll see how hard Griffin will push. He has been aggressive all night long, and he puts down 60,000 chips.
Here's Gary Bush's choice. All he has right now is jack high with an inside straight draw. But if he were to win this hand and win these chips, he'd be right back in the middle of this heads-up duel. That being said, I don't think these are cards that he's going to want to go on with. And indeed, he gives it up.
Oh, Gary Bush probably very interested on what that river card would have brought. We'll show it to you on the rabbit cam. He would have made the straight, Norm.
I wish we wouldn't have seen that, Lon. I mean, that's the problem with rabbit hunting. We see that he would have made the straight, but Gary Bush was absolutely correct to get out of that hand.
Almost 800,000 chips for Gavin, 155 for Gary Bush right now. With the first prize money of over $270,000 sitting at the end of the championship table. Gary Bush is the first to act. Pair of 7s in the hole.
All right. 40,000.
And he's going to raise it 40,000 chips.
How old is Gavin?
22 years, 8 months.
At 22 years, 8 months, I was playing solitaire, and I was losing.
How much do you have?
Oh, that ominous first question.
95. 95.
And he's got a pair of pocket kings, so he's in great shape against Gary Bush.
And now Griffin comes back with a re-raise, hoping that Gary Bush will go all in.
And Gary Bush hoping that Gavin Griffin maybe just has 2 high cards, then it's a coin flip if he calls.
I call.
And Gary will call, and he hates to see those kings flip over. And Gavin Griffin in commanding position here to make history.
Indeed, he is very close now to becoming the youngest person ever to win a World Series bracelet.
Gary Bush almost resigned to his fate. He still has some chances to flop 10-6 jack, and a lot of the chances just went out of the window.
A 7 would be Bush's best chance.
Turn card now is a 5. Gavin Griffin 1 card from becoming the youngest champion in history.
And the way Griffin has played down the stretch here, he would deserve his piece of history.
And now the river card. It's a jack, and Gavin Griffin does it. He eliminates the last 6 players in a row, and at 22 years old becomes the youngest ever to win a championship bracelet at the World Series of Poker.
That was the hardest final table I've ever played. I'm disappointed I never won it, but I live to fight another day, but he was fantastic.
Phil Hellmuth expected to make history tonight, but the unknown Gavin Griffin ended those dreams early.
You know, I got lucky against him in his pot, and there was nothing else to it.
It may have been luck, but it gave Gavin the confidence to add 4 more players to his growing body count.
I think I made maybe 2 mistakes yesterday and today, and it just worked out.
After making quick work of Gary Bush, history was made, and he is now the youngest ever to win a World Series bracelet.
I've always felt like I play limit poker pretty well, and I made enough money to pay my bills, and I did a little bit better this time.
At 22, Gavin Griffin becomes the youngest of the young guns to win at the World Series of Poker.